Hello everybody, I hope that you're keeping well. So again, we can't meet sadly, so I'm brought together a video messy church, so a lockdown Lent session. Now Lent begins on Ash Wednesday and it's 6.5 weeks before Easter, and it provides for a 40-day fast. Sundays are excluded in the days, in the 40 days. And it remembers Jesus Christ fasting in the wilderness before he began his public ministry. By keeping of Lent, Christians take to heart the call to say sorry and have assurance of forgiveness proclaimed in the gospel, and so grow in faith and devotion to our Lord Jesus Christ. But Lent isn't about giving things up as such, but more about growing closer to Jesus. And the crafts I've prepared for you, I hope, are designed to help you think in ways you can do this. Each one has a Bible passage to reflect on. So let the art and craft begin. So our first one I've called Helping Hands Pictures. The idea is that we think about looking after each other. And the Bible passage I've chosen is from Galatians chapter 6 verse 2, which says, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. So helping each other is really, really important. So this art is designed to do that. So what you need to do is you need an A4 piece of paper. You can see I've already prepared this, but using your hands, you're going to put your hands in 3 different positions, and they overlap, and you draw around them. There we go. Now I'm going to turn the piece of paper so it's going to overlap. It's a different angle than my first one. And I'm going to rotate it again, and you do a third one. Trying to make sure you're not overlapping and directly over any fingers you've done. And when you do that, you'll find there is a pattern of all different shapes and sizes. And what you do, as you see in the background, is you colour in each section. Now I've started this one because so you can get on with yours, but it takes quite some time. So yeah, I've just coloured them in different colours, but you could do each section where you'll have all these overlaps, each section you colour in, or you could do different patterns in there. You might do dots or squiggles, lines, zigzags, you decide, but it really creates a lovely effect. And because it takes some time, so I've, in the instructions, given you a link to a song you might want to listen to. It called Ask, Seek, Knock by Hillsong Kids, and it's a great song to listen to the lyrics to and reflect on how God will help us help others. So that's the first art and craft. Now, something you might want to think about during Lent is, if you're helping others, have like a reward chart. So this is a good deed chart, and there are 40 sections to it, so for the 40 days of Lent. So every time you do a good deed, you can colour in one of the sections, and it becomes like a stained glass window when it's coloured in. So there's a little Lenten challenge for you there. See if you can do 40 good deeds during Lent and create your own stained glass picture. That would be wonderful. Okay, so the next craft is called a paper heart and cross wreath. Now the colour, there's a lot of, I've done some purple crosses. The colour purple is often associated to Lent. It's a colour that represents sorrow of Jesus dying on the cross. But it also, purple is also quite a royal colour, and we know that Jesus is king. And the Bible tells us that Pilate and his soldiers placed a purple robe on Jesus just before his crucifixion. And that's in Mark chapter 15, verses 16 to 20. they put on him a purple robe. So the colour purple is very much associated during this time, and I've used some purple crosses in this design. So you'll need a paper plate. Now on my instructions, which you have either been sent or on our website pcd.org.uk, you will find the instructions and a template. So you've got some heart templates of different sizes and a cross template. So I've printed those onto pinks, the hearts onto sort of different pinky colours I had. But if you don't have coloured paper, you can print them on white and colour them in. And I've got quite a few. We'll count them as I go them on. But I've already cut them out to save time. So different coloured, different parts. And I've also done a couple of crosses on purple and cut them out. So if you haven't got coloured paper, then print them out and colour them in. So you'll need a paper plate. And you're going to cut out the centre of that because we're going to be making a wreath. So I just bend that slightly, put a snip in the middle, and that makes it easier for you to get the scissors in. And I'm going to cut to the rim where you get that serrated edge. So I've got a nice big hole in the middle. And we'll cut that hole in the middle out. There you go. And this you're going to hang this like a decoration. So if you've got a hole puncher like I have, that's lovely. I'm going to put that in a hole in now. But if you haven't, just ask a parent to put a hole in it with something like a skewer. Okay, so I've got a hole because I'm going to hang this up later. And then using the hearts you've cut out, I'm going to stick them into random positions. I'm going to leave the crosses to last. So that goes on top. So let's put, so it's probably best to glue the paper plate rather than the heart, otherwise you're going to have glue on your table. And this, you can have a go first of all, putting them in different locations if you want. So I'm just going to sort of stick them randomly. But if you like to have a sort of pattern of sizes, then by all means do. I'm going to put my big ones on the sides, and then I'm going to work so that they can overlap a little bit. Another quite therapeutic cutting all these out and sticking them on. I'll work a little bit quickly. I'm sure you want to get some, have a go yourself. You take your time to make sure they're all stuck nicely. You can see my all coming together. I've got more to do at the top. Oh, I was going to count the hearts, wasn't I? So I'll do that in a moment. Making sure I've left that hole at the top, so I can put my water in. Okay, so I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 hearts. There we go. And I've stuck those all around the paper plate, and then my purple crosses I'm going to put to the side. It's probably best to glue the crosses. Okay, so there's the purple crosses to remember Jesus dying on the cross for our sins. They stand out the side. And then the piece of wool or ribbon, whatever you have available, I'm just going to loop through a piece of wool so I can then knot that and have something to tie it up with. And that just goes through the hole, and you can tie it up and then hang it in your house during this time. Okay, so that's the paper heart and cross wreath. Now the templates, the heart templates I gave with the instructions will also be useful for the next craft, which is a cardboard lacing craft. We're lacing hearts. So I used the biggest heart and I drew round some cardboard. It was just from a package I got in the post, so I drew round some cardboard and drew that, and I've cut it out. Okay, so, and I've done, there's two different styles you can do, so I've done two. And then, using one of the smaller hearts, I then put a smaller heart on the top, and then I poked my pen through it. Because this is thick cardboard, it goes through it. But as long as you've got a mark on here, so you've got the outline of a smaller heart inside. And I've done one close to the edge, and the other one I've got an even smaller heart, so it's more in the middle. So there's two ways that you could lace your heart. Now the passage I've used for this craft is Deuteronomy, can't say it, chapter 6 verse 5, which reads, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might." So now that during this time of Lent, that's such a powerful piece of advice, to love God, and you will feel the love of God in you. So I'm going to lace, so now I've done those, I'm going to use my wool, and I've got some purple wool, and then I've got a thick needle with a big hole in that I've put through, and you lace through through the holes first before those those dots I made. I've actually put a needle through and made them into little holes, so you can see the little holes. You can just see the light passing through there. You could do it with a hole punch. That will make you won't have as many hot holes, so the lacing won't be as elaborate. Okay? But if the hole punch is easier, but certainly ask an adult to put all those holes in for you. It doesn't take too long if you've got the outline of the heart there already. So I'm then going to start lacing through. So it doesn't matter where you start, really. Just take one hole. And I've cut off quite a long length of wool. So I'm just going to put my finger over, leave a little bit in the back, put my finger on that, so when I lace through, it doesn't slip. Find the next hole. Now again, this will take some time, so I'll just start it off so you can see it. It's in, I'm going in through the back and comes out through the front. And make sure that you keep your wool the right side. I've just realised if I do that, I've got the wool over it. The wool must keep to the side of it, otherwise you get knots. There we go. Okay, so keep to the right of it, and you carry on keep your needle just come to the right of the wool, and then you won't get into knots. Hopefully, but if you do, doesn't matter. You just go back and undo it. So take your time. I'm doing it a bit quickly here. Okay, and you're going to go the whole way round. So you can either do this one where the pattern, the wool is on the outside, and you have a ribbed, so you get a pattern around the edge, or you can do it through, you can leave the edge outside blank and just do the wool in the middle. So you've got the idea of this one. Okay, so that's going to carry on until you've gone the whole way around the outside. So I'm not going to let you, I'm sure you can do that off yourself. And when you get back to the beginning, you can knot, or get an adult to help you knot the last bit into place. Okay, so that's one possible design that you could do. And the other one is very similar, but your heart's in the middle. So I'm just going to stop that one there. So instead of going around the outside, I'm going to start with one of my holes, and then you pick another hole over the other side, and you keep going from one side to another. With the wool, and the idea is that you fill the centre of your heart with wool. I'll do a few so you get the idea. So you're just doing opposite or nearly opposite holes to thread your wool through. Right at the back doesn't matter, it's the ones that you're going to have in your front. I'm using the brown part as my front because otherwise I've got the packing details. Really, really therapeutic, and it's probably sensible to, you're going to have to go overlap it, so it's going to take a bit of time to make sure you've got all the holes done. Make sure you do every one at least once, and you'll probably need to do them twice to get that heart shape in the middle. Starting to come together. through a hole I'd already been through now. Going to leave it there so you've got an idea, and you'll have a chance to have a look at yourself. So if you keep going, you can go through the holes 2 or 3 times until the whole area in the middle is full with wool. You could even sort of do your wool around the edge to make it stand out. So that's the cardboard lacing heart craft. And I've used purple wool because that's obviously the theme of Lent is purple. But you can use any wool you want to. Okay, the next craft is a heart, another sort of heart decoration. I think the feeling of the importance of love is really significant during Lent. And I've chosen the verse, it's from 1 John chapter 4 verse 19. It says, "We love because he first loved us." It's what makes us humans. Is, one of the human abilities is to love other people and love ourselves, hopefully, and we have to look after ourselves, and that's really important too. So here's another beautiful, I think it's a lovely craft, decoration to remember that we have a love of Christ. Now, I'm using purple paper. You can use whatever colour you want to, but I'm sticking with the purple theme. And you could alternate the colours if you want. So you'll need strips of paper. So I find the easiest way to do that is I fold it in half, fold it in half again, and fold it in half one more time. Crease. That gives you, when you open it up, that gives you lines. Yeah, and means your strips of paper will all be the same length. So I'm going to keep it folded and cut down more than once. And I'm going to use half purple and half white. Now you can do it with just 8 strips of paper, but it's probably better with 10. So I'm going to have 5 white and 5 purple, and the white ones I've already prepared. And with each strip of paper, to make a heart, you need to fold it in half and crease it. And then with your glue stick, you're just going to glue the top of a piece of paper, and then you fold it over and stick it to the other side. Okay, and then you've then made a heart shape. You do that for each one. Fold it in half, crease, glue on the outside at the moment because you're going to tuck it over to glue to the other side. Oh, that was a bit. There we go. Fold in half, crease, glue on the end there, fold it inward and stick to the other side. Crease, glue, bend inwards, other side. So it's only about 1.5, 2 centimetres max. I put glue on because otherwise you won't get your heart shape. Fold, glue, bend over and stick to the other side. Okay, so I've got 5 purple hearts and I preferred 5 white ones earlier. So you're now going to put these together. So you're going to place a blob of glue on each side. So, a blob of glue, and then you're going to stick the other heart onto it on its side. So I've now stuck those two together. I'm going to get a blob of glue on the side, stick the side of the purple one, and I'm going to keep repeating. Blob of glue on the side of the white one, and it naturally, because we're using the sides, it naturally starts to curve round, and the idea is that we're going to make a circle. Together. You can use a stapler. It will make it sort of more firm, I think, but once it's dried, it's okay, as long as you're not going to put it in a windy area. Can't go outside. And the last one, got to glue the last one together with that one. Oh, there we go. Oh, that one. So I've now got a circle of hearts. Isn't that pretty? And again with your piece of, it's a piece of wool, and then you can loop that through one of your hearts and hang it as a decoration. If you might want to put it through the bottom rather than just the top heart, might want to use some of the side ones to hang it. It'll help it keep its shape a bit more. And you can hang that up again, a reminder to you of God's love and for your ability to love other people. Okay, so I've got one more craft for you, involving some more hearts, of course. And this is a Lenten tree, and you might have done a Lenten tree before. I've used it with the children I teach in my class at school, for them to think of things that they are going to do to help other people, a bit like the first activity. But this, you can use a Lenten tree for whatever focus you want to have during Lent, and I've been sort of having a theme of loving one another and caring for each other, and And the passage I've chosen is from 1 Corinthians. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 7, which says, "Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres." And what I'm going to use my Lenten tree for is to help to pray for people, so that I can display the people I care for, and the people in our world that need love and care. So I'm going to make the tree to start with. So I'm going to use my arm again. So I've got a sort of browny colour piece of paper. You could just, actually you don't need the paper at all, you could just draw around your arms. I've got an A4 piece of card, because we're going to do 40 prayers, a prayer every day. You'll need quite a bit of space to do it. So you can always stick 2 pieces of A4 together to make A3 side. So you can either draw directly onto the card, or you can draw onto a piece of paper, and use your lower arm as well, because that's going to be your tree trunk. And the idea is that you'll be able to have 40 leaves. Oh, I've got my cuff of my watch come out. That's all right. Old trees often have those wonky bits. Now it's up to you how many of these you do. It's probably advisable to do more than one, because we're going to use hearts as the leaves. And every time I want you to think of someone or somewhere in the world that needs prayer, and you're going to write that onto a heart and ask Jesus to be with them, let them know that they're being thought of, that we love them. So you're going to do 40, which means I've only got, obviously this one's only got 5 fingers, but so you could either, it'd be difficult to do 8 of those, because 8 5s are 40, bit of maths thrown in, for 8 of those, but I think I could fit about 4 on a 3 piece of card. Some of them might be overlapping, so that means each finger would get 2 hearts on it each time. And using the heart templates that we had earlier, so every time you're going to sort of write the name of a person that you're praying for during Lent, maybe a country that you're praying for. I might pray for people of China that the government says it's against the law for them to worship Jesus Christ, and we have to pray that they can do so without being harmed. So you could write, I write China in my heart. I'll cut out my heart. And I'll stack my trees, and then I will stick my heart on to one of the branches. And the idea, over the course of Lent, I will have a whole picture of trees and hearts showing the number of people that I've prayed for. I've prayed every day during Lent. So that's another way you can remember to pray. And if you forget one day, you can always do it another day. Do 2 another day to make up for it. So there, that's the art and craft for Lent. I do hope you and do pray that you're keeping safe and well. There's some other opportunities for Lent on our website, pcd.org.uk. If you'd like to have a look at those, I'm going to do the Bible challenge, and I'm going to read the Bible. I read the Bible every day already, but I'm going to my challenge is to read the whole of the New Testament during Lent. So I'm going to be reading a lot more to help me become closer to God. And remember Jesus, his time that he got close to his Father in the wilderness before he started his ministry, and at the end of that time we know that he died on the cross to save us from our sins, so that we can be with God in our future lives, in our next lives. So have a look at those if you can, but keep safe. The snow's gone now, but hopefully you get time to go out and have some fun. All right, take care everyone. Bye.